Hello everyone, this is part 6 of What If Naruto Was the Child of the Moon in Percy Jackson, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, and check out the playlist, to see more comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
We can't seem to catch a break, can we? Naruto mumbled as he elbowed Percy, who was right next to him. The son of Poseidon had his hands on his pen, though still frozen, watching the small chihuahua grow bigger and bigger. The chihuahua, Chimera, grew to a size where his back was rubbing against the roof of the arch. It now had the head of a lion with a blood-caked mane. Its body along with its hooves were that of a goat. And its tail was a 10-foot-long diamond-back serpent growing out of its shaggy behind. The rhinestone dog collar on the creature's neck grew to the size of a plate. The writing on it read as, Chimera rabid, FIRE breathing, poisonous if found, please call TARTARUSEXT. 954. Hey, Percy, snap out of it, Naruto called out, but to no avail. Echidna hissed beside his son, but the blonde could have sworn it was some kind of laughter. Be honored, Percy Jackson. Lord Zeus rarely allows me to test a hero with one of my brood. For I am the mother of monsters, the terrible Echidna. Percy began to stir. Isn't that some kind of anteater? Naruto sighed. This is no time for jokes, Percy. Echidna howled. Her reptilian was turning brown and green with rage. I hate it when people say that. I hate Australia, naming that ridiculous animal after me. For that, Percy Jackson, you shall have the honor of being eaten first. My son will love tearing you to pieces. Back off, Naruto warned. She paused for a bit. The son of Artemis, you have been quite the talk in the godly world. You are lucky Lord Zeus fears the beast inside of you. He knows better than to kill you and release it unto the world. Naruto, what's she? Percy tried to ask. The blonde ignored the question. Percy, get out of the way. The chimera was charging at him, its teeth gnashing. Both boys managed to get out of the way, but they were split up, the monster between them. Percy ended up next to the park ranger screaming into his radio and the family, who were now screaming and trying to pry the elevator doors open. He chose that moment to uncap his sword and ran to join Naruto in the other side of the deck. Hey Chihuahua, Percy taunted the beast. The beast turned quicker than both boys ever imagined given its size and opened its mouth and blew a column of flame at the boys. Naruto, get down, Percy shouted as he dove straight for the ground, thinking the flame was going to engulf them. Oh, Naruto thought. This could be bad. With quick hands, Naruto made the hand signs for a jutsu. Water style, raging waves. His right hand was in a half-ram seal. From his mouth, water gushed out and collided with the flames, putting them out and causing steam to form. Percy, you can get up now, Naruto said. Percy opened his eyes and saw that the ground around them was unscathed. He got up and cleared his throat, his cheeks turning a slight bit of red. So, what's she talking about? Percy asked. This really isn't the time, Naruto answered, dodging Percy's question. Before the creature turned, Naruto charged and chose to slash around the mid-portion of the beast. Percy followed suit and slashed his sword at the neck area. Unfortunately for Percy, the blade sparked harmlessly on the dog collar. With Naruto's attack, the chimera roared in pain and thrashed about. The blonde jumped backwards to avoid collision from the beast. Percy, who was regaining his balance near the beast's head, was watching the head in case it wanted to bite his head off. Instead, the serpent tail wrapped itself around his ankle and dug its fangs onto Percy's calf and lifted him off the floor. He dropped his sword, which dropped to the ground below the chimera. Percy, Naruto shouted in concern. He jumped at the beast and slashed at the tail, causing it to let go of Percy. On the way back to the ground, Naruto caught his friend, who was now unconscious. Clearly, the bite had some poison in them. Before he could land, the chimera turned and slammed its head at Naruto, causing him to let go of Percy. Naruto flew backwards towards the windows. He landed on the window pane, but Percy crashed through the glass and fell into the Mississippi River below. At the bottom of the arch. What's taking him so long? Annabeth said impatiently. Annabeth and Grover were waiting at the bottom of the arch, waiting for the two boys to get down. They couldn't help but notice the commotion happening from the park rangers. We need static asterisk. There's some kind static asterisk attacking static asterisk. We can't static asterisk to work. Static. Hello. The park ranger at the bottom of the arch replied on his radio. Are you okay up there? We can't understand what you're saying. Static asterisk elevators. Help. Static. Annabeth gave Grover a worried look. Do you think they could be? A crash from the top of the arch answered Annabeth's question. A black-haired boy who appeared to be unconscious was falling from the top of the arch. That looks like Percy, Annabeth pointed out. Oh no. I'll go get him, Grover said. Ma. No. There are a lot of people around. Let's go. Annabeth pulled Grover to the spot where Percy was going to land. They watched as he dropped to the river in a loud splash. If Percy is right here, then Naruto is, Annabeth said. Grover, you wait for Percy to come up of the water. I'll go help Naruto. Grover nodded. Back at the top of the arch. Too bad, Sonny. Echidna hissed. You lost your meal. Naruto gave them a murderous look. Too bad my son couldn't eat you, son of Artemis. Lord Zeus specifically told us not to harm you. Come on, Sonny. She continued. You will pay for that. Naruto said with an angry tone. You can go on and try, son of Artemis. The temperature in the room seemed to drop a few degrees. Naruto's eyes turned from blue to red with a slit in the middle. Red chakra began bubbling out of the blonde, forming the outline of a fox around him. A voice spoke in Naruto's mind. Yes, show them our power. This is, Echidna said. You will regret that. Naruto growled. Naruto charged the beast. The chimera stood its ground, its lion's head roaring at the blonde. The chimera's serpent tail pounced at Naruto, but the blonde was too fast. He rolled to right and punched the monster square in the face. With the blonde's newfound strength, the monster was sent flying to the other side of the arch. Naruto didn't let up his attack. In his right hand, a lavender-colored sphere was forming. Before the monster could get up, Naruto landed in front of it and slammed the sphere into the monster's side. Rasengan, he shouted. The area exploded with the jutsu and sprayed rubble all over. In the rubble cloud, Naruto stood over the beast lying on its side. There was a crater on the area where the jutsu collided. Slowly, the dust was swirling around the damaged area, repairing it. Oh no, you don't, the blonde quipped. From his pouch, he took out 2 kunai and slashed through the stomach of the beast and it crumbled into golden dust. Echidna was watching in horror, waiting who would emerge from the cloud, but deep inside she knew that her son was done for. From the dust cloud, 2 bronze kunai flew out of the cloud and hit her in the neck and stomach. In the end, she too crumbled into golden dust. The wind from the hole Percy flew through was starting to blow the dust cloud away. Naruto felt the manic energy finally leaving him, and with it, fatigue was getting to him. He remembered that the elevator wasn't working. Answer, he jumped through the hole and stuck his feet to the side of the arch and ran down meet his friends. At the bottom of the arch. As Naruto was getting down from the side of the arch, he saw that all around the arch, what seemed like every emergency vehicle in St. Louis and news media was circling the area. He remembered the news article he and Percy had in the newspaper, so he figured that he would get taken if the police were to see him. So, he used the darkness to conceal himself and used all the training he had as a shinobi to remain unseen. When he got down, he decided to run on the surface of the river, running away from the scene. About a block away from the arch, he heard Percy, Annabeth and Grover talking. On the other side of the bank, a little girl said, "Mama. That boy is running on the water." "That's nice, dear," she said, ignoring her daughter. Naruto jumped up and startled his friends. After shaking the latest event off, Annabeth dove on the blonde and gave him a bear hug which knocked him over. "Naruto," Annabeth shouted. "I thought we were gonna lose you." "Is Percy okay?" was all Naruto was able to say. "I'm okay, man. The water cleared the poison from my system. But, that was quite a fall. Well, I landed in the water." "Naruto, you fought the chimera and her mother by yourself, and you're worried about Percy?" Grover said with worry. "Well, it was taken care of." Naruto's voice trailed off. More sirens blared in the distance. "We got to get out of here," Annabeth said. The group made their way back to the Amtrak station, hoping that none of the authorities would find them. On their way there, from the window of a shop selling TVs, they heard the news anchor say, "That's right, Dan, we have learned that Percy Jackson and Naruto Uzumaki were involved in this incident. Authorities have been looking for this too for a serious bus accident 3 days ago in New Jersey. It is believed that these boys are traveling west. For our viewers, here is a photo of Percy Jackson and Naruto Uzumaki. The boys in the news froze when they heard the names. Great. Now we're wanted fugitives. Naruto complained. We have to get out of town. Grover said. They ducked through alleys until they got station. Thankfully, they got to the station just when the train was about to leave the station. The train trundled west with the sounds of police sirens blaring throughout the city. The next afternoon. It was June 14th. 7 days were left before the solstice when the train rolled into Denver. On the way, Naruto was filled in on his talk with the river spirit in the Mississippi River. Naruto just sighed upon hearing this. Once during the trip, Percy tried to ask Naruto about what Echidna was talking about back at the arch. Naruto just dodged the question by answering, "It's a long story." When they got off the train, Percy's stomach grumbled. The last meal they had was the night before in the dining car. Also, it was becoming apparent that they haven't showered in a while and it was becoming obvious. Let's try to contact Chiron, Annabeth said to her friends. We have to tell him about your talk with the river spirit. But, we can't use phones, right? Percy asked. I'm not talking about a phone, she said with finality. The four of them wandered through downtown for about half an hour, with Percy and Naruto still curious about what Annabeth was talking about. The air around them was hot and dry, which contrasted the humid weather of St. Louis. Finally, they found an empty do-it-yourself car wash. They entered and made their way to the stall farthest from the street while keeping their eyes open for patrol cars roaming the area. What are we doing? Percy inquired. It's 75 cents. Grover grumbled. I've only got 2 quarters left. Annabeth. Don't look at me, she said. The dining car wiped me out. Percy fished out his pocket and found a quarter. He handed it to Grover. Excellent, Grover said. We could do it with a spray bottle, of course, but the connection isn't as good, and my arm gets tired of pumping. What are we gonna do? Naruto asked. Grover fed the quarters to the machine and set knob to fine mist. Iming. Instant messaging. Percy asked. No, it's iris messaging. Annabeth shook her head. The rainbow goddess carries messages for the gods. If you know how to ask and have an offering, of course, she'll do the same for us. You summon the goddess with a spray gun. Grover pointed the nozzles in the air and water hissed out in a thick mist. Unless you have an easier way to make a rainbow. He spoke up. I got to see this. Naruto commented. In the late afternoon light, colors broke from the vapor and created a rainbow. Annabeth held out her palm. Drachma please, she asked. Wait, I got one here. Percy handed one from his pocket. The young lady raised the coin over her head. Oh goddess, accept out offering. She flipped the drachma into the rainbow. It disappeared in a golden shimmer of light. The group waited. For a moment, nothing happened. Sawa, Percy began. As he was about to say something, the strawberry fields with the Long Island Sound in the distance appeared in the rainbow. The feed seemed to be on the porch of the big house. Standing on the railing with his back to the quest group was a familiar sandy-haired teenager in shorts and an orange tank top holding a bronze sword in his hand. Luke, Percy called out. The sandy-haired teen turned with wide eyes. Cool, Naruto commented. It's like he's right in front of us. Hey, you guys. His scarred face broke into a grin. Thank the gods. Are you guys okay? Fine, Annabeth answered. She seemed to be flustered and was hiding it from her friends. We thought, Chiron, I mean. She continued stumbling on some of her words. He's down at the cabins. Luke explained. The smile on his face faded. We're having some issues with the campers. Is everything cool with you? Is Grover alright? I'm here, Grover called. He held the nozzle to one side and stepped into view. What kind of issues? He asked. Chiron had to. What's that noise? Luke yelled. As Luke was about to explain, a huge Lincoln Continental pulled into the car wash, blaring hip-hop from the car stereo. The car slid into the next stall, the bass causing the pavement to shake. I got it, Naruto yelled through the noise. Bye Luke. See ya later. Naruto waved goodbye to Luke before entering the stall next to them. Chiron had to break up a fight. Word got out of the Zeus-Poseidon standoff, so things got pretty tense here. We're still not sure who leaked the info, probably the same scumbag who summoned the Hellhound. So, now the campers are taking sides like back at the Trojan War all over again. Aphrodite, Ares, and Apollo are backing Poseidon, more or less, while Athena is backing Zeus. Luke explained with his voice straining, trying to compete with the loud music. Percy shuddered at the thought. He couldn't imagine Clarice and her siblings siding with his dad. In the next stall, the music volume decreased dramatically. Oh, was all they could say, along with a sigh of relief at the decrease of the volume. So, what's your status? Luke continued in normal speaking voice this time. Chiron will be sorry he missed your call. Percy told him everything. He explained his dreams and their escapades. Annabeth and Grover pitched in to fill in more details and adding things from their perspective or stuff that Percy forgot to say. Luke was silent, listening to the stories the group was telling him and occasionally nodding to encourage him to continue. Beat the spray machine signaled that there was 1 more minute left for their call. Oh, I see, Luke said. I wish I could be there. I'm afraid we can't help you guys from here. I'm glad Naruto's there to keep an eye on you guys. I hope my shoes are doing you some good. It would make me feel better if they helped you. Oh, yeah. Percy stammered, trying not sound like he was lying. Yeah, it helped a lot, especially with that fight with Medusa. Really? Luke grinned. They fit you and everything. Yeah, it had. He didn't get to finish. The water shut off and the mist evaporated. Naruto, then, entered the stall where his friends were with a huge grin on his face and a familiar gleam in his eyes. So, what did I miss? Naruto asked. Annabeth explained what Luke had told them. We got to finish this quest before they kill each other back at camp. Naruto sighed. At that, all 4 of their stomachs growled as if saying, hey. Fill me up. The 4 of them gave out a chuckle at what happened. Come on, Naruto urged. Let's get something to eat. At some diner not far from the car wash. Not long after their chat with Luke at the car wash, they found a diner where they could eat. All around them were a bunch of families eating burgers and sipping on sodas and malts. They had to wait a while for the waiters to get to them. What did you do back at the car wash? I could imagine the owner of that car would be hard to persuade to keep down the music. Annabeth asked while waiting for a waitress to get to them. Well, flashback. Naruto entered the car wash stall where the Lincoln Continental was parked. 2 guys who looked older than Naruto were in the stall. One was feeding coins into the spray machine while the other was waiting at the car, bobbing his head to the beats of the music. Excuse me. Naruto had to shout that for the guys to hear. What do you want, brat? The guys at the spray machine asked with irritation. Could you turn off the music just tad bit? Get lost, kid, and mind your own business. Naruto simply shook his head. Yo, Brad, what's the hold up? Hurry up with the water. The guy on the shotgun seat called out. Brad turned back to his friend to answer him. Just a sec, Jack. Some snot-nosed brat doesn't know when to keep his nose out of other people's business. He turned back to Naruto. Go. Get out of here if you know what's good for you. I ain't leaving till you turn down the music. Naruto said back. You're playing with fire, kid. Brad warned. If you're trying to be intimidating, then you're looking like a cute kitten right now. Naruto taunted back. Why you little? Brad decided to attack. He sent a punch aimed at Naruto's face. The blonde simply raised his hand to catch the punch. Really now? You punch like a girl. Naruto said as he raised his other hand to stifle a yawn. Brad growled. He sent a left hook with his other hand. Naruto tilted his head back, dodging the punch. He, then, kneed Brad in the gut, causing him to spew blood from his mouth. He let him go, and Brad fell to the ground. From his seat on the shotgun side of the car, Jack turned around to see the commotion. He saw Brad falling to the ground, clutching his stomach. Jack sighed. Must I bail you out every time? He, then, got out of the car and made his way to the blonde. I suggest you walk away. Jack taunted as he brandished a switchblade. An idea stuck its way into Naruto's brain. I haven't tried this in a long time. He mumbled to himself. What did you say? Jack said in an irritated tone. Oh, nothing. Naruto said as he raised right hand into half ram seal. Transform. Jack stood back in shock as, right in front of him, stood a woman like what you would describe as an FHM model. Jack slowly dropped his switchblade. His cheeks colored and a drop of blood dripped from his nose. What? He stammered. Please don't look at me like that. I'm shy. The girl in front of him said cutely. After that, he dropped to the ground mumbling something about girls and hooking up. In a puff of smoke, the girl disappeared and in her place was Naruto clutching his stomach as he was laughing. In every world, this jutsu works every time, he said in between laughs. On his feet, Brad groaned. It turns out, he too had passed out. Naruto broke into a grin. He positioned both boys like they were hooking up in the car, and after that, changed the music into a song he heard on the radio that his teacher back at Yancey was playing. Careless Whisper was it. He also lowered the volume so that only the two were able to hear the music. End of flashback. Yeah, something like that, Naruto said. His friends were about to comment when the waiter finally came over to them. Well, she said with an eyebrow raised. We, want to order dinner. Percy said. You kids have money to pay for it? The waitress asked skeptically. Percy was silent for a few seconds. It seemed like he was thinking of another sob story to tell the waitress like he did back at Auntie M's, Medusa's lair. Well, he began. He was interrupted when a rumble shook the building. Everyone in the diner looked out to see what was happening. A huge motorcycle about the size of a baby elephant pulled over at the curb. Its headlights were glaring red on the diner's windows. The gas tank had flame designs painted on it, and it even came with a shotgun holster. Its seat was leather, but it looked like it came from human skin. The owner of the bike dismounted and everyone was able to get a good view of who it was. He had a muscular build that made pro wrestlers look like fat guy in comparison. He was dressed in a red muscle shirt, black jeans, and a black leather duster, with a hunting knife strapped to his thigh. He wore red, wraparound shades and his hair was sporting an oily black crew cut. His face looked cruel and brutal, and his cheeks were cut like it had been in a lot of fights. Unbeknownst to the Naruto and Percy, this was Ares. Ares walked into the diner, and a hot dry wind blew through the place. Everyone in the diner, except for Naruto and his friends, rose as if they were hypnotized, but the biker waved his hand dismissively and they all sat down again. The waitress blinked. You kids have money to pay for it? She asked again as if a rewind button was pressed on her. It's on me, the biker said as he slid into the booth beside Annabeth, shoving both blondes against the window. When Ares was seated, he noticed that the waitress was still standing by their table. Are you still here? He said. He shooed the waitress away. She stiffened and turned around as if she was spun around, then marched towards the kitchen. Percy was about to explode in anger. Grover noticed that Naruto was shaking himself. In a blink of an eye, he saw that the blonde's eyes flickered from sapphire blue to crimson red. He wanted to ask, but decided not to, in respect to the god who was with them. He looked at Naruto, then at Percy, and a wicked grin broke into his mouth. So, you must be Artie's kid and your old seaweed's kid, huh? He said. What's it to you? Percy said as if he was talking to Smelly Gabe. Annabeth flashed his a look of warning. Percy, this is Soke. The biker said. I don't mind the attitude. Long as you remember who's the boss. You know who I am, little cousin. Percy took a good look at him. He knew he had seen that vicious sneer somewhere. Then, it hit him. You're Clarice's dad, he said, Ares, the god of war. On point, little cousin. The biker grinned and took off his sunglasses. In his eye sockets, there were fires glowing like small nuclear explosions instead of eyes. I saw you break Clarice's spear over on Hephaestus TV. He continued. She was. You're Ares, Naruto shouted as he was broken from his split personality. I was expecting you to look like the Ares in the God of War games. What? Ares didn't know what to say at the blonde's comment. Annabeth hit Naruto with his shoulder while the other two were stifling their laughter. Ow. Naruto said. I was just pointing it out. The God of War was able to gather his composure and cleared his throat. Well, they don't always get us right, do they, little nephew? Yeah, I guess so. At that moment, the waitress came back with heaping trays of cheeseburgers, onion rings, fries, and chocolate shakes. The demigod's eyes lit up at the sight of the food, but Naruto didn't seem satisfied and said, I don't suppose you have any ramen here. I'm afraid not, young man. The waitress shook her head. Oh, thanks anyway, ma'am. Naruto replied. It's so hard to find ramen here, he grumbled to himself. Here. Ares handed the waitress a few golden drachmas. But, these aren't, the waitress tried to complain. Ares snapped his fingers. Look again. He said. Oh, I am sorry, sir. She apologized and excused herself. You can't just. Percy tried to say, but Grover covered his mouth and said, Lord Ares, to what do we owe this meeting? I'm here to give you squirts a proposition. I need you to do me a favor. Percy pushed off Grover's hand and asked, what favor could we do for a god? Nothing much. Just something a god doesn't have time to do himself. I left my shield at an abandoned water park here in town. I was going on, a date with my girlfriend, when we were interrupted, and I wasn't able to get my shield. I want you kids to fetch it for me. Why should we? Naruto said as his eyes flashed from red to blue. We're already on a quest. Ares looked at him with amusement. The blonde was slowly getting affected by the god of war's aura again. So the rumors are true. You really are a Jinchuriki. No wonder Pops is afraid of you. Percy instantly recognized the word. He remembered Echidna mention the word back at the arch. The others, on the other hand, were surprised at the new word they heard. What's he talking about, Naruto? Percy asked. Naruto ignored him. If we get that shield, what's in it for us? I know all about your quest, punk. When the item was stolen, he sent out his best out looking for it, me, Athena, Artie, Apollo, you get the drill. If we couldn't sniff it out, I doubt you punks will. And as I can see, you're out of supplies. We're doing fine on our own. Naruto said, while his friends just stared at him. Yeah, right. As far as I see, you got no money, no wheels, no clue what you're up against. If I hadn't come to bail you out with that waitress, you'd be screwed. Come on, just help me out, and I'll tell you something about a certain Sally Jackson. He proposed. The boys perked up at the mention of Sally's name. Mom. Aunt Sally. Ares grinned. That got your attention. The water park is a mile west of Delancey. You can't miss it. Look for the Tunnel of Love. Naruto, we have to, Percy pleaded. Fine. Naruto relented with gritted teeth. Just know that I'm not doing this for Aunt Sally, not for you. Whatever, punk. Ares shrugged. I'll meet you back here when you're done. Don't disappoint me. The group went out of the diner, leaving Ares at the table. Not good. Grover bleated. This is not good. Ares sought you out. They looked back at the table. Ares was gone, so was his motorcycle. This is stupid, Naruto complained. Why do we have to listen to that jerk? Look, Naruto, as much as I hate Ares, we can't ignore the gods unless you want some really bad fortune. I mean, he could turn you into a rodent if he wanted to. Annabeth said. Plus, he knows something about my mom. We can't let that go. Percy added. Naruto sighed. Okay, let's just go. At the water park. The group begrudgingly made their way to the water park. By the time they made it to their destination, the sun was already sinking behind the mountains. Judging by the sign, the water park had once been named Waterland, but due to aging, some letters were already smashed off, so it read Watrad. The main gate was padlocked and topped with barbed wire. Inside, there were huge dry water slides, tubes, and pipes, curled everywhere leading to empty pools. Old tickets fluttered everywhere across the place. The scenery told the demigods that a substantial amount of time had passed since there were people here. When you add the setting sun to all of this, the place looked creepy. If Ares takes his girlfriend here for a date, I hate to see what she looks like. Percy commented. Annabeth and Grover looked at the clueless friend. I wouldn't say that if I were you. Grover said. Why? What's the problem? Percy asked. Percy, you don't want to insult Ares' girlfriend. She can be, temperamental. Who? Percy asked, still clueless. Aphrodite's his girlfriend, right? Naruto said. The other two nodded. But I thought she was married with the blacksmith god. Percy said. Hephaestus, right. That's a story for another time. I think you don't want to know anyway, Annabeth said. Plus, we have a side quest, don't we? Fine. Percy relented. How do we get in? Maya. Grover's shoe sprouted wings, making him fly over the fence, did an unexpected somersault and stumbled to a landing on the other side. Percy and Annabeth were about to climb when Naruto called out to them. Wait. What? They asked. Naruto held out his hand and formed a mini Rasengan on his palm, and slammed it on the lock, destroying it. He opened the gate and the three entered the compound. They took one good look around before beginning their search. There were absurd names for rides like Ankle Biter Island, Head Over Wedgie, and Dude, Where's My Swimsuit? The names almost made Naruto want to crack up. Almost. No monsters came out to get them. Nothing made even the slightest noise. They found a souvenir shop that was still open. Surprisingly, it wasn't cleared of merchandise before the water park closed down. There were snow globes, pencils, postcards, and racks of. Finally, some clothes, Annabeth said. Fresh clothes. Yeah, Percy said, but you can't just watch me. Annabeth snatched a whole rack of clothes and disappeared into the changing room. The boys shrugged and did the same. A few minutes later, the group came out looking like walking advertisements for the defunct theme park. Before leaving, they didn't forget to pack extra clothes in the Waterland bags that they also found in the store. They got out of the store and continued looking for the shield. Eventually, they made it to an empty pool that looked like a turnpike now that it was empty. It was at least 50 yards across and was shaped like a bowl. Around the rim, there were dozens of cupids standing guard with wings spread and ready to fire. On the opposite side, a tunnel opened up, which the group figured where the water flowed into when the pool was full. The sign above it read, "Thrill Ride O Love, this is not your parents' tunnel of love." Grover crept to the edge. Guys, look. Right at the bottom of the bowl-shaped pool was a pink two-seater boat with a canopy over the top and little hearts painted over it. Easy, Percy said. Come on. Too easy. Naruto added. These Cupid statues are looking awfully suspicious. I agree. Annabeth nodded. She ran her fingers along the base of the nearest Cupid statue. There's a Greek letter carved here. Ater. I wonder. Grover, you smell any monsters? Percy asked. He sniffed the wind. Nothing. Nothing like, in the arch, and you didn't smell echidna nothing, or really nothing. Grover looked hurt. Before the satyr could answer, Naruto knocked on Percy's head. Cut him some slack, Percy. Yeah, Percy. That was underground, remember? Grover added. Okay, I'm sorry. Percy apologized. I'm going down there. Annabeth volunteered. If this was some kind of machine, maybe I could figure it out. I'll go with you. Grover offered, trying to make up for what happened in St. Louis, but he didn't sound enthusiastic. No, Percy told him. I want you to stay up here with Naruto. You guys could get us out in a jiffy when something goes wrong. Naruto looked a little jealous, so he just joked. Wow, Percy, making a move already, are we? Annabeth and Percy realized the situation, so both of them turned tomato red. No, it's not like tea that. Percy stammered, while the other two boys were beginning to crack up. Annabeth immediately decided to back out, but Percy was already on his way down the ladder. Wait, I can't do this. What now? Percy asked. Me? Go with you to the thrill ride of love. How embarrassing is that? What if someone saw me? Annabeth said. Snickers were heard from the boys waiting on top. This place is empty. We're the only ones here. Who else could see you? Percy countered. Fine, seaweed brain, thrill ride of love, she mumbled to herself. Way to make it more complicated, guys, Percy thought. The duo made it on the boat. The shield was propped up on one of the seats. Next to it was a lady's scarf. Up close, the two could see a mirror wrapped around the whole rim of the pool facing the boat. Percy picked up the scarf, and the smell of perfume permeated his nose. He smiled, a dreamy smile, brought it up to his face. Before he could rub it on his cheek, Annabeth grabbed it out his hand and stuffed it in her pocket. Oh no, you don't. Stay away from that love magic. She scolded. What? Oh. Just get the shield, seaweed brain, and let's get out of here. With Naruto and Grover back at the top of the pool, Naruto was observing the area for obvious traps. Annabeth's embarrassments made her forget to check the area for traps. They're still arguing, Grover commented. Naruto chuckled at the satyr's comment. The blonde began noticing something wrong with the scene of the boat. Thin areas in front of the boat seemed to shimmer like the wires that Shinobi used, only it was gold. He saw Percy about to grab for the shield, so he tried to warn him. Percy. Wait, no. It was too late. Percy already grabbed the shield. With Percy and Annabeth. As Percy grabbed the shield, Annabeth heard an audible snap, like a wire was cut. Oh no. It's a trap, she said. You were supposed to check for traps. Percy scolded. Shut up. It's too late now, Annabeth said in defense. Another Greek letter glowed on the boat. Noise erupted around them, like a million gears grinding, as if the whole pool was a giant machine. The Cupid statue drew their bows into a firing position. Percy was about to suggest to get down, when the Cupids fired, but not at them. They fired at each other, across the rim of the pool. Silky cables trailed from the arrows, arcing over the pool and anchoring where they landed to form an asterisk. This can't be good, Naruto mumbled. Guys, Grover yelled from across the room. We have to get out of here. Percy yelled at Annabeth. Well, duh, Annabeth yelled back. Both of them ran towards their friend. Grover was trying to open a section for their friends. Likewise, Naruto tried cutting the wire, but the wire was enchanted and kept wrapping back together. Live to Olympus in 1 minute, 59 seconds, 58 seconds. Where'd that come from? Percy asked. All around them, the Cupids' heads opened, revealing cameras pointed at the car where the shield was. Of course. Annabeth screamed in realization. What? Percy asked. Hephaestus, the daughter of Athena, continued. The Aeta is H in Greek. I'm so stupid. He must have set up this trap for Ares and his wife. We're about to look like fools. They almost made it to the rim of the pool, but Annabeth stopped dead in her tracks when she heard the familiar pitter-patter of little legs. The mirrors around the pool opened like hatches which revealed thousands of tiny metallic spiders poured out. As soon as she saw them, she screamed. SSS spiders, Annabeth said. Spee. Oh no, Naruto said. Percy and Annabeth had to retreat back to the boat. Well, for Annabeth, she was more of dragged to the boat car, since she was frozen in fear. Naruto complained. This is getting nowhere. The blonde quickly made the necessary hand signs and breathed in deeply. Wind style, wind scythe jutsu. A sharp wind blew towards the net, cutting it to pieces. The wind was able to slice through the net. 15, 14. At the exact moment, Percy was able to summon water from the pipes, washing away the spiders. That the water was working well, and was dragging the boat away in the current towards the exit. The only problem is there was no way to stop the boat. They were going to slam into wall outside. Grover, the switch, Naruto ordered as he jumped in the pool and ran for the boat without waiting for Grover to answer. Hey there, Naruto greeted his friends as he got there. Hang on tight. 3, 2, 1, the Cupid cameras were now rolling. Grover raised his hands from the control panel, signaling he tried every button in the control panel. Damn it, this thing isn't working, Naruto complained. The water in the pool rose to the point that they were almost at the level of the net. Percy followed his gut feeling and concentrated on the boat, controlling it to ride the current. Surprisingly, the boat was responding. Then, the boat turned towards the tunnel and they rocketed through the darkness. Naruto held onto Annabeth. She was still shaking at the ordeal she had with the spiders. The boat hugged corners and plunged 45-degree plunges past a bunch of Valentine's Day stuff. At the end of the ride, there were 2 other boats smashed upon a chained gate of love which led to the exit pool. We're gonna have to jump, Naruto suggested. Are you crazy? Percy scolded. Unless you want to be smashed to pieces, the blonde pointed out. Percy strapped the shield to his arm. The 2 of them readied for the jump. On my mark, the 2 boys said at the same time. Fine, you do it, Naruto relented. Percy waited for the right moment. Just before they crashed, Percy shouted for them to jump the gate. Naruto was able to clear the gate, but Percy wasn't as lucky. The son of Poseidon foot was caught in the gate, making him fall face first to the ground. Fortunately, Grover caught Percy through his shirt, slowing their fall. The demigods sat on the ground catching their breath. 100 yards away from them, there were still Cupid statues filming them. A grin made its way to Naruto's lips and he got up and walked to one of the Cupid cameras. What are you? Grover asked in between breaths, but he was not able to finish. Ladies and gentlemen, gods and goddesses, thank you for tuning in. This show is made possible by Ares and his shield. Remember, if you want a good show, Ares is your go-to god. Good night, Olympus. After that, the cameras stopped rolling and retracted back into the statue. Even the lights shut off. Percy, Annabeth and Grover just looked at each other and burst out into laughter. Come on guys, we got a shield to return, Annabeth said as soon as the round of laughter was over. Back at the diner. Well, Ares greeted the demigods when they arrived. You didn't get yourself killed. Why do I get a feeling you knew it was a trap? Naruto said with bipolar-like behavior returning. Ares gave out a wicked grin. Bet that crippled blacksmith was surprised when he netted a couple of stupid kids. You looked good on TV. Percy shoved the shield at the war god, jerk. Annabeth and Grover caught their breath. Ares grabbed the shield and spun it in the air. It changed form as it spun, melting into a bulletproof vest and slung it across his back. See that truck over there? He pointed to an 18-wheeler parked across the street from the diner. That's your ride. Take you straight to LA, with one stop in Vegas. The truck had a sign on its back saying, Kindness International, Humane Zoo Transport. You're kidding, Percy said. Ares snapped his fingers. The back door of the truck unlatched. Free ride west, punk. Stop complaining. And here's a little something for doing the job. He slung a blue nylon backpack off his motorcycle's handlebars and tossed it to Percy. Looking inside, the demigod saw fresh clothes, $20 in cash, a pouch full of drachmas, and a bag of double stuff Oreos. We don't want you lose. Thank you, Lord Ares, Grover said as he placed a hand on Percy's mouth. Thanks a lot. Percy gritted his teeth. It was hard for him to accept something from the war god, not after what they went through because of him. He also knew that his aggression was due to his presence, reminding him of every bully he ever faced, Nancy Bobofit, Clarice, Smelly Gabe, teachers from every school he got expelled from. You owe me one more thing. Percy demanded, trying to keep his voice calm. You promised me information about my mother. While Percy was talking with the war god, Annabeth noticed Naruto's ordeal and placed a hand on his shoulder after seeing him in his condition. That and the mention of Sally made the older blonde perk up and look ahead. As he raised his head, he saw the waitress who served him earlier dragging the fry cook to the window and whispered something to the cook's ear. He held up a disposable camera and snapped a photo of them. Shit, he said, getting the son of Poseidon's attention. What? Annabeth asked. We're gonna make the papers again. The older blonde said while indirectly pointing at the window. The others followed his gaze. They all sighed. So, my mother, Percy said back to Ares. You sure you can handle the new? The war god said. Just spill it, Naruto demanded. She's not dead, Ares said as he kick-started his motorcycle. The ground seemed to spin beneath the two boys' feet. What do you mean? They said at the same time. You saw her glow in a shimmer of golden light, right? That wasn't death. It was metamorphosis. She's being kept. Why? A hostage? A bargaining chip? It was Naruto who answered his question. Whoever's keeping her wants to have the edge over us. Bingo. You've got to learn a thing or two from Blondie over here. Ares said to Percy. You're pretty smug, Lord Ares, for a guy who runs away from Cupid's statues. Percy countered. Behind the war god's glasses, the fire seemed to glow hotter. We'll meet again, Percy Jackson. Next time you're in a fight, watch your back. He revved his Harley, and then roared off down Delancey Street. That was not smart, Percy. Annabeth scolded. Ares is the last god you want to pick a fight with. Grover added. I don't care, Percy said. Guys. Naruto called his friend's attention and pointed to the diner. Our ride's about to leave. At the register, the last two customers were paying their check, two men wearing identical coveralls, with a white logo on their backs that matched the one on the back of the truck. Naruto made a run for the truck with his friends at his tail. The moment the demigods entered the car, the first thing that hit them was the smell. It was like the world's biggest kitty litter. It was pitch black at the back of the truck, so Percy had to uncap his sword to provide some lighting. The blade's faint bronze light revealed to the demigods a tear-jerking scene. In row of filthy cages were the most pathetic zoo animals the group has ever seen. A zebra, a male albino lion, and is that an antelope? I'm not sure. Someone thought it was a good idea to give the lion a sack of turnips, and a styrofoam tray of hamburger meat were given to the zebra and antelope. The zebra's mane was streaked with chewing gum, like someone was spitting on it in their spare time. The antelope had a stupid birthday balloon tied to one of its horns that read, "Over the hill." It was apparent that no one wanted to go near the lion to mess with him, but the poor thing was pacing through his cage that was clearly too small for him and panting from the stuffy heat of the trailer. Flies buzzed around the once proud animal and his ribs began to show, pointing out his lack of nutrition. This is kindness, Grover yelled. Humane Zoo Transport. The satyr was about get out to beat up whoever was in charge of the truck, and Percy looked like he was about to join him when the engine roared to life, causing the trailer to shake. The shaking of the trailer made the demigods, save for Naruto, fall upon each other. Ow. The three who fell shouted. Why are you still standing up? Percy said to the older shinobi while he nursed his backside. Same principle as how I walked up the pillar in the dining pavilion. Naruto answered nonchalantly. You guys okay? We'll live. Annabeth answered. A few minutes later, as the truck cruised through the highway, the demigods huddled together at the feed sacks, trying to ignore the smell, the heat and the flies. Grover and Naruto tried to make small talk with the animals, but they just stared at them blankly. Annabeth suggested breaking them free of the cages to free them, but Percy pointed out that it won't do any good until the truck stopped moving. Naruto felt sorry for the animals, so he got up and headed towards the animals. What are you? Percy asked. Naruto found a water jug and refilled their bowls, then dragged the mismatched food out of the cages. He gave the meat to the lion and the turnips to the zebra and the antelope. Seeing their friend doing this made the remaining demigods get up to help Naruto. Grover calmed the antelope down while Annabeth cut the balloon off the antelope's antlers. Annabeth wanted to do the same with the zebra, but Percy pointed out that it was risky with the moving truck. Grover and Naruto promised the animals that they'd help them in the morning, then the demigods settled in for the night. That will be it for this video. If you want more, comment down below, like, subscribe. And see you guys later.